This is Joyce Tice. I'm talking to Larry Mansfield. It's March of 2016. We're at the History Center on Main Street in Mansfield, and Larry's going to tell us about the Mansfield Sister Cities project. So how did this get started, Larry?
Good afternoon. First of all, I'd just like to say it's my pleasure to be here with Joyce and have this opportunity to speak about the Sister Cities and our upcoming celebration in September. To give you a little bit of background about the Sister Cities, it's actually an official program that was started under the Eisenhower administration about 10 years after the end of World War II. And the purpose of the program was to create relationships between cities in the United States, generally with their counterparts in Europe, to help Europe rebuild their communities after the devastation of World War II. So the program officially got up and running in the late 50s. The original applicant for the Mansfield Sister Cities group was Mansfield, Ohio. It's my understanding that they kind of let it fall by the wayside back in the 60s. In 1972, Mansfield, England picked up the program. Even though it's an American program, it was really the Brits that kept it going for us. They just didn't want to see it fall by the wayside. So pretty much since the early 70s, the leader of the program has been Mansfield, England. Not that that means the celebrations always take place in Mansfield, England, but they've kind of spearheaded the process for us. Right now, we know throughout the world there are 36 different Mansfield communities. Vast majority of them are in the United States. The biggest Mansfield community in the United States would be Mansfield, Ohio. Next biggest, I believe, is Mansfield, Massachusetts. And then we come in at third.
Wow.
Yeah. But then there are some that are extremely small, like Mansfield, Alaska, we think maybe has 55 people. Mansfield, Texas, which is really a township, we think has less than 100 people. So it goes from the gamut of 55 on the low side in the United States to about 50,000 on the high side with Mansfield, Ohio. But by far the biggest Mansfield community is actually Mansfield, England, which would be the equivalent of the size of about Williamsport. So not a big city, but it is a city. We think about 250 to 300,000 people in Mansfield,
what about,
England.
Australia and Germany,
Yep.
and what other countries are represented?
We know for sure that there's one Mansfield in Germany, and I had contact from that lady. I believe she's coming this fall. We're keeping our fingers crossed. There is at least one Mansfield in Canada, in Ontario, Canada.
Great.
And I've had contacts from them, and there's a couple coming from Canada. And then there are 3 Mansfields in Australia. We haven't had any contact from them. Yes, 3 different Mansfield communities. Yep. We're not quite sure of the size or even the location of where they are in Australia. But to my knowledge, there's 3.
I had a question right here on the tip of my tongue. How often did these groups get together?
Joyce, it's my understanding that fairly consistently since 1972 when Mansfield, England took it over, or spearheaded it, I should say, every 4 years.
Okay.
So it's almost like the Olympics. So when we meet this September, we'll very informally decide where the next celebration will be. Now, over the years, I know that it's taken place in Mansfield, England, Mansfield, Massachusetts, Mansfield, Ohio, and Mansfield, Michigan, and then it's bounced back and forth. Basically, every 8 years, it's in Mansfield, England.
Okay.
Is what we've been doing. Is England, and then 4 years later, a place in the United States, and back and forth.
How many have you attended?
I've attended 3 so far. 1 in Mansfield, England, and 2 in Mansfield, Massachusetts. Yeah.
So tell us about this upcoming event in Mansfield, Pennsylvania.
So what we're hoping, and it looks like we're going to be pretty successful, is we've got people coming in from all these different Mansfield communities. During the week, typically we have day trips. And then most of our formalized activities would be on the weekend. So our basic schedule is Monday we're calling our arrival day. Because people will be flying in. We've got 20 people committed from England already.
Wow.
Yeah. Yep, to have their airline tickets and everything. Yep. So we want to have, some of them are coming in Sunday, some of them are coming in Monday. So we want to kind of keep the beginning of the week fairly light to give people their travel days.
Sure.
Now, not everybody will come in for the full entire week either. People will come in and out. So generally we've labeled Monday as our arrival day. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, those days will be travel days, we're going to call them. But I know on Tuesday we've got a winery tour scheduled. Wednesday would be some local things like the PA Grand Canyon, and then the Corning Museums. And then Thursday we're going to do a trip to Niagara Falls. And a lot of these trips are really based around the request of the English people that are coming. But I certainly want to emphasize that they're not the only things we're going to be doing all week. They're just day trips that we're organizing through Benedict's bus.
Sure. That
people can sign up directly with Benedict's and go on those trips. But during the week, there's going to be lots of different local activities. Like we're assuming here in the History Center, there'll be something going on. I know the Mansfield University Foundation wants to have like a barbecue or a reception one afternoon. So when I say Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday are our travel days, that doesn't mean we're necessarily revolving everything around getting people out of town. It's exactly the opposite. They're going to have alternatives.
Mm-hmm. Well, it would be nice for those of us in Mansfield to have the opportunity to interact with some of these people.
Yes, ma'am.
And find out a little bit about them.
That's right. So each day of the week, yeah, there will be more local things going on. Now, we don't have that schedule hammered out yet. We kind of needed to get the big trips set first, and then we can revolve things around that. But there will be local activities all week.
Okay.
The highlight, really, of the celebration will be our banquet, which will be Friday night at the university. It's going to be at Mansfield University. Mm-hmm. I'm keeping my fingers crossed that we'll have funding to have that free for the participants. We might ask the people from our local community to have to pay, but hopefully, we can offset the cost for the banquet. I know that at the recommendation of Ann Levanture, who I'm working with through the university, that our banquet will be all local foods. So we're going to look like venison, for example, but some other things, yeah. But we want to keep it as local as possible because literally we have people coming from all over the world.
Sure.
So Friday night will be our banquet. Saturday we're hoping that all our participants will participate in the 1890s parade. We're going to ask people to bring things from their community for two reasons. First of all, we're going to ask them to bring a banner so they can march through the parade. And then also, during the 1890s weekend, we intend to have like a meet and greet type tent. And we're asking the members from other communities to bring things from their communities to showcase in that tent. Good.
That's what we've been looking forward to, is to have that opportunity to see their stuff.
Right, and we assume that'll go on all day on Saturday.
What about the football game?
Well, we're going to, if all goes well, we're going to have the participants actually go up to the football game, and at halftime they would be introduced and march onto the field at halftime. Deb Safaro, who is the athletic director of the university, is also working on the possibility of a tailgate to go on for a short time during the football game. Because I'll be very honest, we don't want to compete with the 1890s weekend. That's not what this is about. Our programming is in conjunction with 1890s.
Okay, good. Well, that's going to be exciting. Now, how about housing these people?
Well, we're giving everybody two choices. The Sister Cities committee, the overall committee, prefers that we house people with our local residents, just to give them a feel of the community. For example, I know the mayor of Mansfield, England is coming. Mm-hmm. So we're hoping that he's going to stay with Tom Wymborowski, our mayor.
That's great.
So we're going to try to pair people up. There might be an attorney that's coming. If he and his wife come, then they're going to stay with me. But we also give people the option if they want to stay in a hotel or a motel, because sometimes people just don't feel comfortable.
They want their privacy.
Right. So they'll have both options. Jane Wilson here in town is the head of our housing committee. She'll be returning from Florida, I think, next week. And then we're going to start physically working on our list. I know that I've got commitments for probably at least 20 or 25 people already.
Great. Well, you've been working on getting this together for several years now.
Yes, ma'am.
And now it's all kind of speeding up.
That's right. And Joyce, we intended and assumed it would be that way. that we kind of have a soft sell up till about 6 months before. Once the winter was over here in Mansfield, then we go running full speed ahead. We've done a lot of work, preliminarily, making contact lists of the other groups, housing list, the events. But now we've got a Facebook page set up. We have a registration form developed. We just need to merge those together, and then I'll be sending out an email soon to all the different communities to let them know that the schedule of events is now on our Facebook page. You can register. So our timing is right where we wanted to be. We didn't want to do too much too early, and yet we can't wait till the summer to do this.
Well, I'm really excited about it. I've been looking forward to it for several years. I've got quite a few of the Arcadia books on other Mansfield communities and antique postcards and so on.
Yeah.
But I think it's great to to bring it together just on the basis of a name.
Yeah.
And I really think that people in Mansfield are going to enjoy meeting these other people.
Well, just what I find so encouraging is that I'm getting offers from so many different groups to help. The 4-H Club, the Boy Scouts, the YMCA, Mansfield Foundation. There's a lot of different groups that just see the value of this, that are volunteering to help us, which is wonderful.
And it's coinciding with our 25th anniversary of 1890s.
Right.
So we're looking forward to merging that on the 1890s logo in T-shirts, which will be one-of-a-kind collector items.
Yeah, yep. So everybody that I've had the opportunity to talk to here in town, outside of town, is extremely excited about it because it's unique for our area. The program's not unique, but it's obviously unique the first time it's come to Mansfield, Pennsylvania.
Well, I would suspect that many of these same name town organizations that were started have fallen by the wayside. It requires one community to keep it going.
That's correct. And ironically, our Sister Cities group, the Mansfield group, as I said, is pretty much spearheaded by the English group. But a lot of other communities are spearheaded by their European counterparts, too.
Is that right?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, it was the European communities that kept it going in the 70s when things kind of got rocky here. So
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, Larry, is there anything else that you want to tell us about 1890s that we need to know, not just for now, but as part of our history?
Well, guys, we'd love to see everybody attend. The best way to learn about us is to come down, to Smythe Park during the 1890s weekend, come to the banquet. We can be instrumental then in determining where the next celebration will be 4 years from now. And just the greatest thing would be for everybody to show up sometime during that week. Like I said, there'll be plenty of opportunities all week long for not only people coming out of town, but the people right here in town. So I would just encourage everybody to participate, because once you'll be just like I am hooked.
Sure.
You'll want to go wherever this is 4 years from now.
Before we wrap up, which we have to do shortly, I want to make the point that we actually have several Mansfield High School graduates living in Mansfield, Massachusetts.
That's right.
Connie Trask and Jack Baines live there, and one of the Barber women lives in that town, and I imagine there's other places.
There are a lot of others, and I just have found out recently that Sandy Nesbitt was born in Mansfield, England.
Is that right?
Yeah, Sandy lives here right in town.
Interesting. Well, thank you, Larry, for coming in and telling us about this, and I'm sure many of us are looking forward to it.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.